Hello and welcome to another episode of the Trip Cap CDL podcast, where we keep you and ourselves guessing at all possible times. On this week's episode, we talk to Prestinni of the Chicago Huntsmen. We look back at the Minnesota Home Series, and we look forward to the Paris Home Series, where we build a bracket with him. Yo, Tommy, we gotta go. All this and more on the Trip Cap.
No, we won't back down, gonna fight till the end. Our honor comes first every time. Gonna stand up straight with our hand on our heart. Gonna right every wrong that we find.
All right, guys, now it's time to get into this one. My name is Miles Ross. I'll be your host throughout the show, and I'm joined, as always, by Momo and Lottie. They're down here somewhere, guys. Welcome. How we doing?
Fantastic. Absolutely incredible. Couldn't be better. Monday is off to an absolute flyer. Should I say it's Monday? I'm not.
It is Monday. Phil, it's Monday. That's when we recorded this. It's Monday.
Okay, well, Monday is great. I'm hanging out with you guys, and I'm excited to just talk everything about the home series.
Well, it's all right, Momo. I just messed up too because I just kicked my camera, so everyone just saw that. It's fine. The camera's okay. Got it back on track. But I'm doing great. Wild weekend of Call of Duty. So much to talk about, and can't wait to get into it with you guys.
Break it down.
It really was an insane weekend, and if you did miss all the action this weekend, let's give you a quick recap. The Røkkr couldn't defend their home turf as an injury to Alex and a poor performance continued their downward trajectory. Oh, I didn't even say the word trajectory.
Jesus Christ. Oliver on it. Go on.
Kicked.
The Røkkr couldn't defend their home turf as an injury to Alex and poor performance continued their downward trajectory. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. That's a tough word.
No, it's not. It's not. But last night I gave myself a lisp for 2.5 hours on Twitch, so now I can't say the word trajectory.
Yeah,
it's stuck.
Trajectory.
It's
Stop
stuck.
it. The Røkkr couldn't defend their home turf as an injury to Alex and poor performance continued their downward trajectory. Oh my god.
This is
I just got on the floor. I just had to get on the floor. Anyway, enough. The Røkkr couldn't defend their home turf as an injury to Alex and poor performance continued their downward spiral. Both the Surge and the Gorillas look like completely new teams with their best showings of the year. Dallas and Atlanta were feeling the love early, but sputtered out on Sunday. The Huntsmen still couldn't shake their boogeymen with another loss to Florida and failed to make it to Sunday. And the CDL can't sleep on the Mutineers anymore, as Awakening's debut couldn't have gone any better, with Florida taking the Minnesota crown. All right, guys, so no questions about it. Florida, it was a ridiculous tournament. They deserved the win, I think, in every single way possible. There were some incredibly close moments, but Phil, the honeymoon period, it's very real. It's true. You make a change, you win the event.
It's kind of crazy. It is, because everything that you kind of learn in Call of Duty, esports in general, is consistency is key, and how you've got to build a team and you've got to do this and you've got to really get that chemistry. And we are seeing these substitutes keep coming in, making changes and just being shot to stardom. We've seen it multiple times. I actually tweeted out, and I've not got it to hand, but it was the likes of Mac Meltz. It was Pharaoh joining originally, and they won. Then it's Awakening joining. We saw Zero joining the London Royal Ravens. They got finals. Chino with Optic Gaming. It is clearly a real thing. The honeymoon period, I've experienced it myself in my playing days. You just have a new sense of a team. And I think, generally speaking, you make a change, normally because something isn't working. And when you're replacing it, everyone's got these new vibes about them. And I will say, and credit to the Mutineers more than ever, because I feel like they've been dealt a little bit of a tough hand,
The laughingstock of the league.
No, not the laughingstock of the league.
No, that's the Gorillas, sorry.
Mutineers are certainly not. They've won 2, but it was just like with the whole Prestinni thing, the amount of tweets that we saw, Miles, like, how can you give a world champion away? You got to make another team better. And then, they do that. They bring on, like, quote unquote, an amateur player, and bang, you got another victory. You're in that top 4 question without a doubt. It's incredible.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about Awakening. I know that he'd been in the amateur circuit and he'd had great individual performances. We saw loads of tweets about that one, but look at his previous records when it comes to placements. It has not been great for a very, very long time. Like really, really, I'm not gonna say average, but just nothing spectacular. To come in on his first event debut performance here in the CDL, win the event, but also put out insane numbers and play very, very well. Super, super impressive from him. This is a life-changing performance. Like, he's gone from obscurity to infamy in one weekend. I'm loving it.
I'll tell you what, Awakening. We're awake now, pal. I'll tell you that for one thing. I mean, insane
I'll be back in a
stuff.
second. I'll be back. I'm leaving this.
Lottie's got her dad joke of the episode in. Damn early.
I had to squeeze it in.
I tell you what, I think she needs to bring up the other Mutineers dad joke that she told us.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
This is the
Shocking
best joke ever. Okay, I'm so proud of this. So don't even go there, all right? Okay, so earlier in the season when we were back at live events, I said on the desk, well, you know, if the Mutineers get fried in this next game, I guess we're all eating calamari tonight.
Oh!
I was so proud of that.
It hurts a little bit.
I love that joke.
The best
with me?
the best
Who's with
thing
me?
about it, she said it and Namos just didn't catch on. He just carried on talking. He
He had no idea. And I was like, what a waste of creative energy.
You've been
and
thinking of that for months.
What?
like humor.
All right, so wait. They're reeling it back in, because of course the Florida Mutineers. I mean, like, it was a great run, like, from start to finish. And we talk about Awakening being the sort of the superhero there, but the whole squad was unreal, man. I mean, Skies is. I tweeted about Shotzi being one of the best players in the world. If I had to give that person to, like, second place best player in the world for me right now, it's probably Skies, man. Consistency across the board, like, standout individual performances, and like the brain on that boy when it comes to playing Call of Duty, man, is just so good.
He just seems a couple of steps ahead of the rest. Now, I was just bringing the bracket up here. It was the fact of how they won it. And again, they started, who did they have? They had Chicago, right off the bat, they took them down. Then they beat a very hot, fiery Gorillas. Ooh. After that, they then beat Dallas in the semifinals, and then they beat Atlanta. They literally beat the top three and a red hot Gorillas. It was like the best way that you could have done it. But to touch on your point a little bit more, obviously the individuals, and I think they do get overlooked, Skies being one of them. Skies at the moment, I was looking across the board, and let's not forget, Skies has been a part of the Mutineers from day one. They've had multiple team changes. People come in, people go out, and they've had to adapt and stuff. He still retains, I believe, the number 2 overall KD in the league across the board. I think only shadowed by Octane. And I mean, you can take that with a pinch of salt because, Seattle Surge and, people will argue, well, Octane's the only one performing. There's more kills for him or whatever. I don't even know. But he just seems to be right place, right time, all the time. Skies is incredible, and I think was a bit of a steal, if I'm being honest, for the Mutineers.
I think that's a really cool stat because I think that, for example, bringing Octane back into it, it's really easy to see a player standing out from the rest if the rest of their team aren't really performing to that same level. Yeah, and then, for example, Skies in a team of Mutineers, they're all looking really good, especially their brand new sub. It's kind of easy to allow that to kind of settle back into the team and not notice it as much. So that's a really cool stat. I love that. And, Phil, you mentioned consistency, and I wanted to bring something up here and pose a question to you lads, because, you're experts here. I'm not an expert, but consistency. How does this work in terms of our teams right now? Because it's something we talk about constantly. How can a team be consistently good if they're not consistent within their team? For example, the subs. Mutineers have had a bunch of changes this season. So have many of our other top teams. I want to know from you guys, what do you think about that? Can you actually consider a team consistent if their team roster hasn't stayed the same?
That's a cool question, though. When you think of consistency in a roster, you think of phase, and you think of consistent placements in that team as well. Like, I think they've got the most finals appearances outside of anyone except for Empire, I think. So this is a team that are consistent, truly consistent in performance and placement, and they haven't made a change. But you can say the same, like the opposite there for the for the Mutineers. Sorry, they've had 2 first place finishes. Then they've had it was one of the previous home series, I think it was their own home series, the Florida home series, where they didn't win a single map. That was coming off of a win. So again, if those of you who like patterns coming up, they make a change, they win the event. The next event, they don't win a single map. So eyes are on the Paris home series. But it's really difficult to maintain that consistency, Lottie. And I think I don't know how you do it in this game. I don't know personally how these players, you keep grinding the game, you get a little bit burnt out, maybe start to make mistakes there. Maybe it's something about the practice regime they have to work on to maintain a level of consistency. But that's a very tough question. And I personally don't know. And that's why I'm not a coach.
I would say the one thing you can look at is the consistency of individuals. I'm not sure whether you can say the Mutineers have been a consistent team. I don't think you can anyway, because they've won, they've also lost, in general, without not winning a map. But I think you can go in a little bit deeper, and maybe further deep should I say?
Oh,
with
okay,
Skies,
Momo.
you know?
I see you.
Taking a book out of Lottie's, a page out of Lottie's book. But yeah, I think Skies, when you look at his numbers and other individuals across the board of many other teams, they are consistent, you know, and this is why he is where he is right now, and that's why the Mutineers are where they are. So it's a tough subject, and I think you are right in questioning it, because these guys have had many roster changes. But one thing that has always remained the same is that core team, you know, and part of that core team is Skies, and of course the other lads too.
Yeah, let's think about now. So we're going on that substitute honeymoon theory, like the core of a team is what really matters there. But what about the Gorillas? Like that core team has changed like dramatically since the start of the season, but now they're looking better than ever with one change to what we can call like core number 2. Like we start bring on Spark, Decimate, Blast, and Vivid. Like that big change there. All of a sudden now the Gorillas look better than they've ever looked throughout the entire season. The core has changed again. You've got one guy coming off the bench. Like, is this still the honeymoon period? Are they going to be good next event? Like, I mean, I don't think we've seen them in Paris, but...
This is what I think of this, and it's a bit of a... I don't know if it's a bit of a cheesy metaphor. Like, when you're trying to make a recipe, right?
Right.
Whether it's a cake or something like that, you miss one ingredient. You miss the salt, or you miss the baking soda or something, and it's all messed up.
Making cake with salt? What are you doing?
Yeah, like you've messed it up.
Salted caramel.
You know, you change just one small thing and it's all good. And I think for a while they've been trying to find the right recipe. They've been putting too much salt in, they're putting too much baking soda in or whatever, and it's all just not been going right. But I feel like they're finally kind of figuring out what works for them, and whether it's the amount of slaying power or the amount of, you know, players doing whatever it is, X, Y, and Z if you like. But they've found something that works. And I think now I'm excited to see if it is a honeymoon period, or they've kind of gone through this trial and error of this doesn't work, that doesn't work, this player works better with that player. Because honestly, watching the Gorillas, by the end of the tournament, the Gorillas were playing, you know, some of the best teams in the world. And I was like, I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
And over a few days, my opinions changed that whole squad.
Yeah. It's funny to think
Saints was the sugar they needed, wasn't he?
Just a little sprinkle of Saints, a little bit of special sauce there, a little bit of something magic. That's amazing to think that like Saints, they took FaZe to round 11. Yeah, I mean FaZe. Let's just say FaZe had a rocky tournament to begin with. Like aside
what the hell was going on?
What the hell was going on with FaZe? Like 2 round 11s against teams who they should have been smoking on paper. I mean that was difficult enough to say the least. But the rise of the Gorillas has been awesome to watch. I mean, we give Vivid so much credit because like the Search and Destroy performances are staggering, man. And like I'm so excited to watch the Gorillas play Gun Run and Search and Destroys because you can almost guarantee that Vivid is going to do something crazy. But also he's just a smart player, man. He plays really patiently. Like it's not like he's doing anything ridiculous. He's just playing a very, very solid fundamental of Call of Duty. And that's like, I was joking about it in broadcast where I was like, he doesn't take gunfights, he won't win. It kind of works, man. Like in Search, if he doesn't have the angle, like we were laughing about it, but like if he doesn't know he's going to be able to land 3, 4, 5 shots on a player in that position, he just backs on up. Like it's those little things. You go back and watch his gameplay. It is huge. So massive love to the Gorillas. I think better late than never for this sort of transformation. And again,
absolutely,
it's dangerous still when you think of the standings, you think about going into champs. But look, if they can turn it around now, if they can get a couple more high placements, big wins against decent teams, even if it's not necessarily the seeding they want going into champs, it's the form. And that's what I'm really pumped to see. The other thing I really want to talk about, obviously Minnesota is still on the downward decline. Alex's injury, Phil, like he has a problem with his thumb. There's a limited range of motion there. I don't know. What do you make of that?
First and foremost, we all wish a speedy recovery. It is a little bit different. We talk about sports and esports, and yes, certain ones are more taxing on your physical body or mental body or whatever, but like people get injured. You know, he might have got injured playing the game. He might have got injured doing something completely different. I don't know what Alex has been up to in his spare time, but he's got an injury, last minute substitute, and it sucks. I feel very sorry for Minnesota because they go into this, from my understanding, think that Alex is playing and he's trying to work through it. And then last minute, they've got to change something. And this isn't a type of honeymoon, oh, someone's in, we're going to play amazing. Like, they didn't even get a second to go with this. And I feel bad because Minnesota, as we all know, started the league so well. They were on the very edge of winning events and could have won multiple, but didn't close it out. And now I've seen them gone from a definitive top 4 team to definitively not in that top 4 anymore. You know, they're not even close to it. We've got 4 teams that not only have won, but won twice. And I hope Alex gets back in. I don't think any of us know how long the injury will be for. But Alex, I was just looking at, him as a player individually, and statistically wise, he's a very big factor for this squad. Dropping a 1.07 overall across the board. It's all kind of green. He is a big asset to Minnesota, and I think if he isn't back for the next one, which of course we know isn't far away, Miles, this is only around the corner, how far did Minnesota drop?
Yeah, Lottie, do you think it's too little too late for Minnesota? Do you think even without Alex, they're already on a downward trend? The next few home series we see them in, we don't see them in Paris, we see them in New York. Their groups are stacked.
It's so tough, isn't it? And it's a kind of heartbreaking, really, because I remember we actually spoke about this last time and about how this was kind of make or break for Røkkr, and the fact that they kind of haven't had that opportunity to come out and show us if they could do it, because they, I feel like they deserve a home series. From the way that they've been playing this season, I'm shocked that they haven't had one. And it really sucks for them to have this circumstance coming forward on their own home series. You couldn't have written it, could you? Because it's awful. And, things happen and they tried their best. I still was impressed with, what they did have on offer. But it's just one of those things now. And I think it's a really tough game to now crawl back. I think when you've had a taste of the top, to then have to go at the bottom of the pile almost, in their mindset, to then climb back up again it's a tough journey, man. And I'm really not sure.
That's a good call. To have come so close and now just it's getting further and further and further away. The next time we see Minnesota play will actually be at the New York Home Series, and their group there, they've got New York Subliners, Chicago Huntsmen, Royal Ravens. That sucks. That sucks a lot. And the next time we see them after that will be at the Toronto Home Series, the last home series of the season. Their group there. Do the group there. They've got Atlanta FaZe, Florida Mutineers, Dallas Empire. Come on. Come on. Are they even going to be able to win a series in those remaining two groups? Are we going to see any more points for the Minnesota Røkkr before the end of the season? I don't know. We said this last week. The good news is they got all their points at the beginning of the season. They got second place finishes, and they're right up there in the standings. If they didn't have that now, Minnesota Røkkr are going into champs screwed. We're talking a downward spiral in performance and a bad position in seeding. They got the hard work done at the start of the season. That's all that really matters for them right now. God damn, what a COD league this is.
It's wild, man. Do you know what else is wild, though, which I really want to talk about, is FaZe. Because we talk about FaZe so often, and I previously said they're my comfort blanket of the Call of Duty League. They're the untouchables, my superheroes in terms of all of our teams here, because, the stats speak for themselves. But this weekend, we saw a totally different side of them. I actually think almost for the better. And I know a second place finish isn't the best. However, if you then break down this team right now, okay, filled with youngsters, filled with young guns, super talented, their mentality must be the strongest, some of the strongest in the league, honestly. If you look at how they did, 2 reverse sweeps, one coming close to another reverse sweep, unfortunately didn't quite go that way, little win in the middle. However, still not having a very good tournament at all. Their hard point was... It was terrible. It was really, really bad. Prestinni
It was
not
very
having
unFaZe-like, I'll give you that for sure.
It really was.
It was kind of crazy to see FaZe, but when teams they get a bit of a kick up the arse when they do bad. I think getting second place is a kick up the arse for a FaZe. They still got 30 CDL points, is it? I think it's a big hang on a second, guys, you ain't number one anymore. We've got 4 teams right there with you, and you need to kind of step it up. And I think that's what they needed. Not that they're kind of complacent players, but when you're the best and you're in that squad that is just frying and destroying teams, very easy to be we're just better. And I will also always say in COD, it's very hard to be the top and stay at the top. People learn from you, people copy you, people counter you. And that's why dynasties are so kind of rare and so special. And I remember when FaZe was created, people around were like, yo, you think FaZe are the next dynasty? I'm like, guys, I'm not even telling you to give it a month. Give this a couple of months and you'll soon see how quickly other pro players adapt, copy, counter, change. And it's I don't think we'll ever see a dynasty like we've seen in the past, if I'm being honest. The competitive edge of these players is just too high, and they won't let that happen.
But on the other side of that, though, what is scary what is really scary about this situation and what we saw this weekend is, having this situation for FaZe, the way that they actually held their tournament, the way they carried themselves through that journey, it really was on the backside of things, wasn't it? They were never in front. It was never ever in front. They were always on the back foot. However, having their worst tournament, I think we've seen so far pretty much in terms of consistency, getting second place, and playing their worst. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. If I was on another team, I'd be like, oh, they're playing so badly. Oh crap, they got second place.
Yeah, they still got second. That's a scary thing. That's a really scary thing. When you think of like FaZe, you think of like young players, and going back to what you both have said, how even when they're at their worst, almost they're still beating most good teams on their best days, which is insane to think. And also that mental game. Like I feel like these losses are. It's just all character building for these young players. When you're a youngster who's everyone in the world, in the entire COD scene is going, man, you're the best. You guys are the best players in the world. You're the sickest. What does that do to a youngish brain where you keep getting told that you're the greatest, you're the greatest, you're the greatest? You feel like you cannot fail. You feel like nothing is ever going to go wrong. And then when things do go wrong, how do you respond to that? I think FaZe, by the end of the year, they could still well be there. In my opinion, I think right now, they're probably the most consistent, most dangerous team in the world. Like, I still think that they are potentially number one. I think Dallas have got this like well-rounded, great squad or whatever. But I just think FaZe, there is something about that team. There is a lethality. There is a ceiling that they have yet to reach. I think they still have the ability to do that. But you got to have these moments where they get smacked and they have to remind themselves that we're only human. Yeah. We have to learn. And these character building moments, man, by the time the end of the league rocks around, FaZe are going to be something special. I don't know if I can say that for every team in the league, though. I really don't. Like, FaZe have no weaknesses. They have no glaring weaknesses. Like, even when the chips are down, as you said, like, back-to-back reverse sweeps, that's exhausting to do. The whole joke about, like, don't go 2-0 up versus FaZe because it's just going to sweep you. Like, like, it's funny, but it's like they don't have any glaring weaknesses.
Well, Crowder might be actually happy about it a little bit. Do you think? Because
your boy's got to learn.
Yeah, it might be like, hey, guys, this is a taste of what it's like to be on the other side of things right now. Like, this is what it feels like. Don't get complacent, chin up, and this is how you get over it. And they did it.
Losing is learning. Like, from the words Rambo Ray, he says it a lot. Like, you're not going to get better unless you lose. And that's why I feel like I agree with you in the sense that I think this will help them in the long run. Much like United, last year. They didn't have a great time, leading up to playoffs and champs, but they learned and they kept getting better and better and better. And yes, Simp, big help to that. But I feel that this will help them. I think FaZe are going to be an even more feared team going into the next home series and the next, because they've got a point to prove now. If they know that they're not number one, they know that they've won 2. Which puts them level with 3 other teams. They don't want to be level with 3 other teams. They don't want to be classed as a top 4 team. And I think, realistically, they're a top 2 team with Dallas. Them and Dallas right now, they're still the best 2 teams. I think they're the most consistent. They've had the most finals. And again, if we're going into a tournament right this second with all 12 teams competing, FaZe and Dallas are the 2 teams that I'm most worried about. Going 0-2 down. Do you remember the last tournament, Miles? One of the stats that I brought up was when they lost the first map, this is the first time in the CDL FaZe have ever lost map number 1 in round 1. And this time they lost map 1 and 2. Then they lost map 1 and 2 again. They'll be going over hard points like nothing else.
Then they lost map 1 again.
Yeah.
They
did
it
so many times.
After.
They lost so many hard points. And it's wild. It's wild. But I think they bounce back and they actually probably improve and become better than they were.
Maybe it's too much time with Verdansk, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if that's the only weakness that FaZe have got, is that maybe they come out a little slow.
Verdansk, that's not their weakness.
If Verdansk is their weakness. What is it? There's rumors of a new map coming, so I don't know. Maybe that helps them out in a big way, but it could make it even worse. Oh my God, the drama. But yeah, FaZe don't really have many weaknesses. They don't really have a kryptonite, you could say. But one team who definitely has a kryptonite is the Huntsman. They've definitely got one, and it ain't me. It ain't me or Phil, because he's always there. But it's for sure. It's definitely the Mutineers, man. The Mutineers have just got the angle on the Huntsman, man. They just don't lose to them. Like, no matter how close it gets, no matter how exciting it gets, they just don't ever go down. And I love that. I love that we have that continued storyline throughout the league.
I think it's a bigger problem than that, though, as well. I think it's an awesome storyline, and I love it. And I love it when Ben says, it's cursed. It's cursed. There's a curse. But I actually think it's a slightly bigger issue than that. And I do not want to take any kind of, respect away from the Huntsmen because they're a phenomenal team. We've seen that time and time again. The problem is something else we've seen time and time again is them actually fall down and fall flat at times where I think maybe they shouldn't have, or there was maybe no reason to. So that consistency for me, a lot of people think they're super consistent. Actually, if you look at it, they're not. They're not that consistent. They are having major ups and downs, major winning home series, like not even getting to semi-finals the next second. And that for me just shows that they have a lot of kinks to work out right now. They have a lot of ironing to do. And
it's weird. They seem a lot like the Mutineers in that respect. 'Cause the Mutineers are another team that's super up and down. Like you know that the highs are the highs, they're going to win and beat everyone. But the lows are the lows. Like we're looking at no map wins. Like it's an interesting thing.
When they're great,
don't face yourself.
Amazing.
They're made for each other.
It's one thing as well. We didn't get the Huntsman FaZe matchup again, and we talked about it. It was a potential matchup. These guys have still not matched up against each other. But I think even FaZe at their odd position they're at right now, maybe losing some hard points. I still think they beat Huntsman. Huntsman just seem like, yes, they are capable of being at the top, but it's the Dallas and FaZe which are getting to finals after finals after finals, and even on their good days, their bad days, they're still competitive and they're still at the top. It was very weird, and I think Lottie said they fall flat, and that was a really good kind of way to put it, I feel. Again, it's tough. It really is, and I think Huntsman, I can't even say that, the whole losing is learning right now. I think losing for them is just getting more frustrating and more pressure, and they have so much pressure. They're the one team in the league that I think has so much pressure, so many eyes constantly on them to perform. And I know some of them have had that for years. Scum, for example, that's his life. He's had the fan base and he's used to that. But some of them haven't. And it must be frustrating to be new to it and to be letting down so many people who have constantly got your back and constantly cheering you on. And for you not to perform, it must suck so bad.
And they're vocal. They're so vocal about it too. They're very vocal fans and very loyal fans too. So it's, you probably do feel like you're letting down a lot of people, but you gotta, keep your head up, and that's part of the game.
It really is. I mean, COD League has not disappointed once again with a
Never.
stellar home series, man. And whether it's the memes, whether it's the tweets, whether it's the content that follows, like everything. Like this weekend was truly, truly incredible. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's bring in Prestinni. All right, now it is finally time. We have Prestinni of the Chicago Huntsmen. Brother, welcome to the show. Again, sorry, straight away after the Minnesota Home Series, boom, right in a recording, but we appreciate you, mate.
It's okay. I've had a couple days to regain. I'm here. It is what it is, man. My fault. You can't do anything about it.
Mate, we appreciate you. We really, really do coming in. And again, it's tough, obviously, not the result you want. That goes without saying. But dude, how has it been, just straight up, teaming with your brother again? Your teammates are obviously sick players, some of the most famous players in COD. How much fun are you having on the squad right now? Aside from when you're not winning.
Yeah, the vibes are always there. Even I know we lost, and that was obviously the first time I've had to experience what it's like to lose with this team. But we just talk about our issues and what went wrong after our matches, and that's my favorite part. We don't just split off and not talk to each other for days, and we actually go back and understand that this isn't all that matters in the end is champs. You know what I'm saying? So we don't care so much about these. Obviously we want to win, but we'd rather lose now than lose at champs, and fix our mistakes and learn what we'd rather be exposed for what we don't know about our own selves and fix that before champs than, just kind of sit there moping around and not fixing anything. You know what I'm saying? So the vibes are always great, and it's always a fun time, even just scrimming and whatnot. So I've never had a funner team to play with, I guess. I know it's not a word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Right on. I mean, from what we see on the outside, obviously, it looks like you guys are struggling, obviously, with the losses and whatnot. But when you watch streams and everything, you do seem like having a really, really good time, dude. I want to go back to that champs, that status check, because obviously, I think you'll feel like you're not ready for champs. If champs were next weekend, I think you guys would feel like it's we're going to go in with everything we've got, but we're not ready to put ourselves in a position where we're going to guarantee that top spot for ourselves. What are you doing with the squad now? I mean, this is a team of literal champions. Even Envoy, like he's a champion now. We can call him that. Like, what are you guys doing to bring yourselves up to that one mentally?
I think what you said, yes, but at the same time, I feel like we're confident to go into champs right now and, come out with a win. If we, obviously champs is way different than any $10,000 tournament for some points.
Yep.
So like competing at champs is just different. It's a better atmosphere, even if there's no crowd or if it's on land. Well, I don't know anything about it, but all that stuff, like it's for a lot more money and there's like a lot more, that's what you played for all year. So like, I feel like if we went into that tournament right now, I feel like we're good enough to win. I feel like we could, if we play FaZe or Dallas and we like show up, I feel like we can win that series, like either of those series. We should have won against Florida this weekend, but we choked a Dom. We ended up. I won't get into all that, but like, I feel like if we did, go to champs right now, like we would be prepared. I mean, we could obviously get better at things. Like I'd rather not, obviously, and I'd like to get better at domination and more consistent at it. Our hard point obviously looks really good. We lost our first one this weekend, which we shouldn't have lost, but. Again, I won't get into all that.
Good, brother.
Our S&D is what was our issue this weekend. We're usually a really good S&D team, and like everything I was doing is what we usually do. Like we usually make plays on the map when we put pressure on them, and we weren't just doing that. We weren't playing like ourselves. Like we would make a strat, like triple pinch, and like we wouldn't triple pinch. Like we would just blow things off, and like. We weren't doing our usual plays, and I feel like that screwed us in the end, and it obviously showed. I went 2-10. I was still trying to make plays on the map, and, I was kind of doing it by myself, so I looked like an idiot, and then, like, it wasn't working. I slowed down, and, if we would have played S&D how we usually play, I feel like we could have easily won this event. It's just that's all it comes down to, in my opinion.
Prestinni, I'm going to jump in now. It's my turn, guys. Prestinni, I've interviewed you quite a few times now, and I know how personable you are and how well you come across. And you're just a nice person to talk to in general. So talking about your transition onto another team, your social media, your personality shines out now with the Huntsman. So I just wanted to know, with the Huntsman fans, they're very vocal. They're very much there for you guys, rooting for you to go along. I just want to know what the reception was like with you joining this new team, having this new brand behind you too. How was it with the fans?
It was very welcoming at first. Obviously, a new player, like they're just excited to get like better vibes and see something new, see something different. And I was that person. And it was very welcoming at first. I had a few people that didn't like it. Obviously, it's going to be a thing. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. I was really confident at first. Like everyone was being incredibly welcoming for me, and I appreciated it. And obviously, time goes on. You're not going to get every dub there is possible, and I know that. So obviously, this weekend I experienced what it was like, and it's not even that I just experienced what it was like losing. I experienced what it was like losing on this fan base while being that person that cost it. I went 2-10 map 10, and everything I did got countered, and it was a bad map for me. I played like an idiot, and I told my team that, and I apologize. And the fans were having me, man. Like they were letting me know, and I understand it. I didn't take it wrong. Maybe a couple of years back, I was a little bit, maybe even a year back, I was a bit more sensitive, and I would have been responding left and right to all these kids, roasting them back and stuff. But nowadays, obviously joining an org like this, I can't. And I understand that it doesn't hurt my feelings. I've been called personal names way worse, so it didn't hurt my feelings. I was more so hurt over the fact that I just played so badly, and it was my fault, and I'm harder on myself. I'm my own, I'm my biggest critic or whatever, so like it hurt myself more than that what they said was hurting me. You know what I'm saying? So like, just playing so bad, I have higher standards for myself, and especially in S&D, I'm really good at S&D in this game, with this new team. And I let everyone down. So, I just felt bad for even allowing it to get to that point.
Hey, at the end of the day, man, you're a phenomenal player. You're super talented. You were the missing piece to the Huntsman puzzle. So I just want you to know that, it's a team effort at the end of the day. And I understand you being your toughest critic because, hey, that's what happens when you're a champion. That's how you get to that level. That's how you get to that standard. You have to, be constructive against yourself. You need to learn from it. And that's awesome. But I just want you to know that you're fantastic and I keep your head up, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I've gone through years of this stuff, so it's nothing new to me. But I appreciate that a lot. I've always said that to everyone. So like their words don't hurt. What it's not demotivating. It's it's the same. It's all on me. So whatever they say is just background noise. But
Absolutely.
I appreciate it a lot.
LVP coming in with the gas. I'm gonna have to reel this one back and bring us back to reality. All right, so dude, let's talk now. Let's talk about Florida. So you are the actual mutineer. You left the Mutineers. You go to Chicago Huntsmen, and are they the kryptonite? What's the deal, man? What was it like to lose to your former teammates? Like, what was going through your mind in that series? Like, and it was a tough series, man. Like, we were all there, bro. We were screaming. It was insane. But like, what was that like for you? Like, especially because they were your former teammates and the fact that like they're the quote unquote kryptonite.
They're the kryptonite before, I feel like maybe, but we definitely should have won that series. I feel like they're not a kryptonite. I'm not scared of playing them. You were the kryptonite, right?
I love that.
That's what we like to see.
Wanted to play them again. We were like, if we beat LAG today, which obviously didn't happen. We beat LAG today. We're gonna take phase and we're gonna meet them in finals. We're hoping, and even we were just hoping to play them at some point. We wanted to knock them out. And we knew for a fact we should have won that series. Like, we should have won 3-1. That dom was unacceptable what we did. We would have won off the points we let go away. We had B control for so long, and we just didn't cap the flag for like a whole minute, and we lost out on that much points, and we lost by like 10 points. So we would have won off the time we missed out on if we would just cap the flag. So just coming down to that, I was mad after that map. I was actually pissed off. But like after the series, I was even more mad because we got to a game 5 that shouldn't have even been happening. And we knew how good, like, we knew we were the better team. Like, I take it how you want. People will be mad at me, Florida fans. I don't care. Come at me. We are better than them. I don't care. Like, that's just how it is. We choked the series, and that's on us. Like, we made a small mistake. So I'm not scared of playing them. I'm not scared of playing any other team. I feel like if we show up, we're the best team in the game. So, a lot of people are going to come at me for that, but that's just how I feel. That's how confident I am in this roster. So,
no, right on, dude.
This makes me look forward to the next matchup for sure because
100%.
Oh, you better be.
I'm casting that one.
I'm not letting that one go the distance, buddy. You better trust that.
I was worried, for a little while, Preston, because it started to become a little bit of not so much of a coincidence, and I was like, dude, like, are they just better than them? I couldn't understand what was holding you guys back, but like after listening, to what you just said, let's bring it on. Rematch right now. Let's go.
Dude, I wish. Well, I would be so hyped I'd be having a rematch against them right now. I can't. We let it slip, and that pissed me off. But I feel like I said, I'm just that confident in my team. Like, whether it's Florida, FaZe, Dallas, I don't care who it is. I feel like we can take any match we're put up against, and unless it's LAG. Their SMG is nuts, by the way.
It's crazy. It's evil. So
what they were doing was so weird.
Bro, so wait. I want to reel this back. So obviously pissed to lose to Florida, but what was it like to see former teammates win? Man, was that any different? Was that a good thing at the time?
Oh, I don't. Asterisks, man. Same thing. Like, I didn't count my win. It's the same thing. I'll give them credit though. Like, they're obviously a really good team. They know what they're doing. Even like, I've heard some things about me that they've said, but I won't get into all that. Like, I'm not on the best of terms with them, but like, they're good. I know they're good. I'll give people credit, even if like, they deserve credit. I'll give it to them. Like, they're a good team. That Awakening guy, he proved that he's good enough to compete with the big dogs. So, I'm excited to see where they go and if they improve anymore. But next time we match up against them, I'm not letting that happen again.
Hey.
Cannot wait to run it back. Cannot wait to see how that one goes. All right, with that talk done and dusted, I think it's now time we move on to building our bracket for the Paris Home Series. Okay, so this is it. We're going to do the bracket builder a little differently this time. Basically, Prestinni's going to be teamed with Momo and with Lottie for each game we choose. They get 30 seconds to come to a consensus. I'm going to be timing it, and when that's done, move on to the next one. Is everyone clear with the rules?
Ready to rock and roll, baby.
We
All right,
got
so let's do
this.
this.
I don't need
Okay.
30 seconds.
No, five. Tops.
No. Well, we did 20. we talked to Mud Dog for like an hour. We had to trim it down. All right, let's do this. So, Legion versus the Mutineers, Praggy and Prestinni. Your time starts now.
Right, Preston. I'm thinking at least like 3-1 or 3-0. What are you thinking?
I think it's going to be. I think it's 3-1. I think
3-1?
Legion's going to take the Dom. They're a really good Dom team, so I'm going to go 3-1 for Mutineers.
Yeah, cracking on with that, man. Look at that, Miles. Boom.
All right, I've stopped the clock. I'm going to say like 14 seconds. That was pretty good. So it's a 3-1 Mutineers over Legion. Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Momo. You ready,
You ready?
to roll?
I'm ready to
Prestinni,
roll. Let's get
Prestinni,
into it.
Prestinni, you
All
barely
right.
had a second to like calm yourself, but you ready to go straight into round 2. Let's get it. Your
Round
time
2
starts now.
All right, so I'm going to take my time a little bit here. Preston, I'm going to ask you, you guys play these, scrim these. You said like the Legion, they're, good Dom team. Is there anything you think Ravens are going to take away from Empire? Because I think Empire right now are, the team to beat for Ravens. What are we thinking?
They smoke us in scrims, actually. They did before we won the Seattle event, too. I think they're a really good hardpoint team. Their Dom, I'm not too sure about. I think they have the I think it'll be a game 5.
2.
3-2 Empire, let's go.
3-2 Empire. Oh, you got you just got in. Oh my
I know.
word.
I had to
but
go with
that's
something. I heard the
perfection.
countdown, Miles. I got nervous.
Yeah, you should be nervous. Yeah, you should be nervous. All right. Straight up next in this one, Subliners versus Optic Gaming, Lottie and Prestinni. Let's go.
Okay, so Subliners Optic. Oh, it's so hard because we haven't seen them for a little while. So, what are we thinking? I think it's going to be quite close, actually.
Time, What's the time, Miles? Quick.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
This
gosh.
one's actually tough. I'm going to go with
really tough.
Subliners 3-1.
3-1, you think? All right, I'll agree on that just for time's sake.
Done. Oh, that's a tasty one. That was a spicy one. Okay.
3-1 Subliners. Okay.
With 3-1 Subliners. Okay. Moment, Prestinni, you ready? Your time starts now. FaZe versus Ultra, go.
3-0 FaZe. Sorry, I just jumped. Prestinni, what are we thinking, mate?
Ultra's really good. I think with what went on, they had a lot of time torched. So I think they're going to get back to their level that they were before in making top 4 again. I think it'll be. I think FaZe wins still, but I think it'll be 3-2. Probably 2 actually. I'm gonna go 3-2.
3-2. Hell yeah, let's do it. Why
All
not?
right, time. That's it. 30 seconds are up. Thank you very much, boys. That was very exciting. A nice
Game
one.
5 every game.
No, it's such a
Game
pushover.
5.
We
All
have
right,
two
here we
in
go.
game 5.
Here we go. Our very first knockout round of the tournament. Here we go.
Okay.
Paris Legion, London Royal Ravens, Praggy, Prestinni. Your time starts now.
Okay, Paris Legion, London Royal Ravens. London for sure.
Yeah, I'm going London too.
Yeah. Do you think Paris is going to take something here?
I think they take Dom.
Dom?
I think they
So
take
3-1?
Dom. They might take a game 4. But
Yeah.
I think London goes up 2-0 fast, and then it depends on the next 2 maps. I'm gonna go 3-1 for London.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
3-1 it is. Nicely done, team. You had 8 seconds remaining here. Okay, so next knockout game, Optic Gaming versus Ultra, Momo, Prestinni. Take it away.
I'm going to let you start this one, Prestinni. What's your first thoughts?
Who's it?
Optic Gaming or Toronto Ultra?
I think. Oh, I don't know. I haven't been able to play Optic Gaming in scrims or nothing recently, so I have no clue where they're at right now. But they did look good at the last one. Maybe not so much, but they had potential. They've shown potential. So again, I think Ultra is going to take this one 3-2.
3-2 it is. He loves the game 5.
Done. 3-2 it is. That's a fun one. Okay, now
OGLA
over
are
to...
out, man.
Sorry. OGLA are out. That's it. Okay, now to the quarterfinals. We've got Florida Mutineers versus Dallas Empire. You ready to roll?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, this is kind of tough because
This
we've
is
already
tough.
seen this matchup. But like, what are we thinking here? I think Dallas could make a comeback.
I think Dallas takes this one.
Yeah.
I think they kind of showed up a little bit slow against
Yeah.
them. Didn't know what to expect. They didn't have
I think it'll go
anything
game
on them.
5 though, man.
I think it'll be 3-1, in my opinion.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Actually, if they do go game 5, though, they take it. They're a better search team, I feel like. So we'll go 3-2. Yeah.
3-2.
seconds.
Yeah.
Done. 5 seconds complete. Well done,
Ooh.
team. 3-2. Dallas are now in the semifinals. Okay, knockout round 2. Prestinni, Momo, your time starts now.
Okay, so I'm leaning towards FaZe again. I think these guys go up, make the semifinals, but I don't really see Subliners kind of pushing this one to a game 5. I'm not sure about you, Prestinni. You love your game 5s. What are we thinking?
You don't think so? I think they went game 5 with everyone this weekend. If they don't fix their hard point, I think they lose the series, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
Oh,
hard
yeah, I
point
think
is
Their
bad right now.
respawns are really looking
Bad.
rough right now. New York's is
Are you
really
thinking
good.
Subliners take it?
I'm going New York 3-1.
Oh my! Is
Ooh,
it?
like
We're
that.
locked in. We're locked in.
Time's
3-1
up.
Subliners.
Time's up. Time's up.
Whoa.
Okay.
Plot
now
twist.
another knockout round. I messed that up. Another knockout round. Now we've got the Florida Mutineers going up against the London Royal Ravens. Praggy, Prestinni, your time starts now.
Oh,
This one's
man.
a good one, honestly.
Man.
London's looking really good in scrims.
Yeah.
They were before as well, and they made finals. So
Game
I
5,
don't know.
round 11. Who's taking it?
I think Florida's a little bit tougher. I think it'll go game 5 and Florida wins it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh,
3-2.
is that it?
Yeah.
3-2.
Nicely done. You guys are much faster. Okay, here we go. Knockout round 2. FaZe versus Ultra. Momo, Prestinni, go.
All right, I need speed here. FaZe and
I'm
Ultra.
I'm going FaZe, bro.
I'm going to go with the
this one's
first
easy.
3-0 of the tournament. FaZe.
First 3-0? All right, we'll go 3-0.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was fast. Nicely done.
Right back
3-0.
at you.
Dude, right.
All
Okay,
right,
3-2.
Momo.
3-2 in round 1. Now 3-0. FaZe Ultra. All right, we like it. Semi-finals time.
Oh my God.
Empire versus FaZe. Praggy,
Dude,
Prestinni. 3,
wow.
2, 1. Get it.
This is a
Right.
stacked top
What do you
4.
think? I think maybe a reverse sweep.
I think Dallas takes this one. I don't think
You
they
think so?
let up. If they go again, if FaZe doesn't fix their hard point, I think
Yeah.
this is an easy 3-1 for Dallas.
Yeah, agreed. I think based on what we know right now, 3-1 is a solid choice.
Oh, I like that. Spice indeed. Okay, Subliners, Mutineers, the other side of the semifinals. Momo,
my.
Prestinni, 3, 2, 1, begin.
I mean, my question is, do we get a similar final? A Dallas Empire Mutineers? You thinking Mutineers
Yeah.
take this, or?
I think Mutineers take this. I think based on what we've seen recently, Mutineers have seen a little bit stronger all around, S&D
Okay.
and all. So I think this one will be a closer series. I think that's going to go 3-1 still. Actually, no. I think it'll be game 5, and they just take the S&D because they're a little
Game
bit
5.
well-rounded.
5
in that.
seconds.
Let's do it. 3-2 Mutineers.
3-2.
3-2 Mutineers. Okay, cool. Nicely done. We're now in the finals. We'll slow this one down a little bit. Let's just look at the history
I think
here.
this should be a joint effort. Momo, myself, and Prestinni, and I
You're
think we
still
should
only
get
getting
the
30
full
seconds.
30. Yeah.
You're still only getting 30 seconds, but let's just look at this one more time. That this will be the second time the Mutineers and Empire will have met up in the tournament, according to our bracket. Empire won game 5 in the quarterfinals. I give you now 30 seconds for the 3 of you to go at it. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Your time starts now.
All right, I'm going to start. I'm thinking Dallas come out on top. I think they reclaim the title. They build the empire. I'm going with a 3-1. What are your thoughts?
I agree on that entirely.
Yeah, that's exactly. I
I
actually typed it out. So yeah.
I don't think they slip up and respawn this time. I think it's an
No.
easy one.
3. So we're all thinking Dallas Empire take the Paris Legion home series, Miles.
What anticlimax that was. Like, all of you just like, yeah, it's going to be 3-1. But whatever, there it is, 3-1. I like this bracket a lot. I don't think there's any glaring weaknesses here. I think this is a cool one. And I'm glad that I put you guys under the pressure to get that out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was good.
We
Empire
had
3-1.
1-3-0. That is we have 1-3-0 in the whole tournament, man.
It's
Long
a
game
long
5.
weekend. It's a
Competition's tight these
long
days,
weekend.
man.
It really is. We were talking about that before.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
nuts, man. Every team's getting better. Like the skill ceiling's there for everyone. So it's
The
tough
gap
to
is
tell.
closing
For
firmly.
sure, easily.
I think the 1-3-0, it's the fact that like Ultra, they take FaZe to game 5 in the first round, and then the next time they meet up, it's just like, boop,
I think they lose
3-0.
full. They lose full.
Yeah.
That's
Ah,
why.
yeah.
I love that one. Okay, dude, thank you so much, Prestinni. Thank you so much for doing this. That was tons and tons of fun. What is next for the Huntsman? You're obviously not going to be at the Paris Home Series. What are you guys going to be doing to prepare for the next?
We're going to be playing a lot more S&D. I think this week we've realized, obviously, if we're not going to be playing S&D the way we usually do, we're not going to be winning. So we're going to be practicing as much as usual, learning timings a bit better, and, just taking advantage of the month off we have and, really sharpen up our S&D. And then obviously our Dom, we haven't even had that much practice still in it. And I think all 3 game modes are going to be solid come champs time, and we're going to be really dominant by then. So that's our goal, is just to sharpen up the last 2 modes that we need to fix.
Mate, sounds like a plan. Thank you so
Love
much
it.
again.
Absolutely.
You're a homie, man. You're a homie.
We love you, Preston.
Much love, pals.
See you, mate. A huge thanks once again to Prestinni of the Chicago Huntsmen for coming on the show, helping speed build that bracket. We wish him the best of luck going forward. I am pumped for the Paris Home Series, man. I'm excited.
Same.
I tell you what,
But
that's
I'm
the most
ready.
pressure I've been under in a while. I feel that timer, it got to me, Miles. But I think we came out with a pretty decent bracket.
Yep.
Kind of shocked at it looking back, and we have FaZe going out pretty early, but it should be exciting to see how that one does on the old leaderboards.
Yeah, we will do. All right, guys, it is now time to get into the final segment of the show. It's time for Miles's mailbag. Who is your MVP at this point in the year? Lottie.
Oh, my MVP at this point in the year. Damn.
Wow.
Oh, so hard. I think because value is so difficult to choose in terms of like skill and just everything. I would honestly say right now my MVP, because of improvement and just overall just being nasty, is Shotzi.
That's very safe.
Yeah.
I totally see why you picked that, and so many people are picking that one as well.
Yeah.
Momo.
See, instantly, the way I go about this, I think I've got to pick someone from Dallas or FaZe. Those for me are the top 2 teams. I think the very recent, as in last night, bias is like pushing me towards Dallas. But if I think like grand scheme of things over how things have been, who stands out for me most, I'm gonna stick to it. And I think it's over the whole CDL 2020. I'm gonna still go with Celium for FaZe.
Yeah.
That's fair.
A little bit of an off one this week, but I'm sticking with him.
No, I like that. Dude, I'm also going with my gut feeling and the sentiment I had at the very, very beginning of the season to where we are now. Still, I think it's Envoy. I think it's Envoy from the
Yeah.
Huntsman.
Oh, do you know what? That
he
was
is-
my second choice.
He's been incredible for the Huntsman, to be fair.
Yeah, he's crazy, man. Again, it's everything from in-game, calls, the way the plays work out. We hear the comms. He's always calling the shots, man. Like, I'm a big Envoy fan. I think he's still a very, very valuable player. But both of you, those I don't know if there's a really wrong answer with how good everyone is in the league right now, but
It almost isn't really an MVP yet then, in that case, is there? Because if we all have different opinions...
That's the question I'm not looking forward to at the end of the year when when the crew come to us like, hi guys, who's your overall for the entire year? I just be like, come on, man. That's too hard to answer. Let's roll into question number 2. And this one is very, very relevant. And so we're going to have to deal with this one. How do you react? This is as broadcast talent. How do you react to getting caught cursing on air? I'll let you guys go first.
I think it's very weird. People ask me this question a lot in like personal streams or when they see me in person. It's not like I don't curse. I do. I just don't find it natural to do it during casting or on the desk or in an interview. I think kind of like the quote unquote professional mindset just kicks in. Like there's every now and again where you'd like, or, a few words will slip, but they're not bad curse words. It's, you've said a couple, Miles, very recently, which I think got through. But apart from that, we're good.
But Lottie, I'm gonna save this. Lottie, on you. How do you feel about getting caught?
Well, first of all, it's quite a rare case where I do get caught swearing. Because first of all, again, like Phil said, it doesn't come natural to me on a broadcast to swear, unless we're kind of in like that situation where we're having a bit of fun, and you could put it in, but then I actually genuinely choose not to, just because
it's a place of work. It's something that you try and avoid anyway, like any other place of work.
Professionalism isn't there if you do you know what I mean? It's weird. You got to find that balance.
I completely. Both your points are incredibly, incredibly valid. And I always think it this way. I'm like, if you go to somebody's home and you're meeting their family, their parents, whatever, you're not going to sit at the table and you like tuck into the meal and be like, yo, this casserole is f***ing awesome. Like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to sit there and like, yo, these peas are the shit. Like, no, you're not. You're just going to be like, this is delicious. Thank you very much. You're going to delve into the rest of your vocabulary. And also, I feel like with the way we are as in our profession anyway, the way I am especially, and I know I've been caught saying mother on air very recently. It was a mistake, and those mistakes are made by many other people, because when we are working on air, I make a very deliberate and conscious effort not to say swear words. I've come very close intentionally, and I'm trying to do that as part of the magic, just to tease you with, I'm going to say, holy shiitake mushroom, whatever it may be. Like, I want to just tease you with a sort of, with a homonym, something that sounds a little similar, maybe. I mean, I once said shift instead of and what do we do, Phil? We said, like, I would have told you to go and flashbang yourself instead of yourself, because I'm not going to say yourself on air. I might say it in the trip cap, but I wouldn't say, if you had told me that Los Angeles Gorillas would have won this series, I would have told you to yourself. No, I wouldn't do that.
I also think it's different when you're...
We're going to have so... I don't even know, this is going to make sense. There's just so many bleeps over everything Miles is saying right now.
I don't know what the f*** you're talking about.
Can anyone even hear us? Can anyone even hear us? It just sounds like Morse code.
I think the point is, yes, I definitely cursed on air this weekend. It was an accident. It definitely wasn't anyone's fault. It was a technical issue, and this is something that happens, and it's no one's fault. It just happens, and we're all learning. But I've definitely learned one thing. I need to watch mouth at all times.
I think
because
the
you know
answer
what?
to the question is disappointment, isn't it, Miles?
How
because
do
we
you
actually haven't said how we feel about it.
No, you're right. You're right.
Disappointed a little bit, isn't it?
Okay,
Especially at work.
I can tell you now, this is actually the second time I have very erroneously. Don't laugh at me just yet. This is actually the second time. This seems
like a touchy subject to you. You're getting quite riled up about this.
He's getting a bit sweary.
Yeah, you're getting a bit leery over there, Ross.
Listen here. This is my show, right? And I'll do whatever. So wait, let me finish my point. And hopefully this does all get bleeped out. Otherwise, I'm in serious trouble. This is the second time this has happened, and it's always been an accident. And obviously, no one in this position, unless, I mean, you don't intend for this thing to come out or happen, but we're all human. We all make mistakes. The reaction, though, is always one of absolute guilt. I feel awful, because at the end of the day, my voice being heard through the broadcast represents everyone behind the scenes, in the company, the players, you name it. And that's something that we've been dealing with in a big, big way recently when it comes to Black Lives Matter and how we handle this whole situation. And it's the reason why we said everything we said on the broadcast. You know, we are representing way more than just ourselves here. And I think that is a big, big deal. So it's a big deal. And that's why I do feel mortified, because it's like, it's not just like me sitting on the couch and like, I'm a little kid and I'm playing games and I'm like, yeah, him. And my mum hears me in the next room and she's like, what? Like, no, it's not like that. It's very, very different. And I think there is a level of respect and there is a level of responsibility.
There's a time and a place, and for Miles Ross, that is trip cap.
Miles letting all his anger out, all the curse words out, and I think the question like, how does it feel to get caught doing it? Because I answered it more in the sense of like, how do you avoid doing it?
Why do we not do it?
You just don't say anything bad on air. How about that? If you're in a place of work,
my answer would be, I don't get caught because I don't do it because I'm very professional. Miles' answer would be,
mortified
up all the time.
And, here we go.
At
the end of the day, you just need to make sure that you look back and think to yourself, like, who am I representing here? What is my responsibility? And do I need to leave my dirty sailor mouth at the front door? Yes, you do.
Miles, you need to.
We need to tone it down.
This show needs to end.
I know what I am.
Where's Benson? He would have never let this happen.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about?
You can stay. We're talking about a full rotation here. Get Ross out and his possy mouth.
God, Phil. Anyway, last question there. Just to put a bow on all of that, because we've rambled here for a second, take responsibility for your words and actions. Take responsibility for your words and actions, what you do. What I said was a joke, obviously, and the dude who he tweeted us back, actually, that I was talking about that motherfucker on my timeline, he tweeted us back. He was loving it. He was having a good time. And obviously the community had a good time. But at the end of the day, take responsibility for your words and actions and be very mindful of where you are when you say things and why you say things. All right? That's it. Done. Now, where the were we? Last question, number 3. This is more of a statement than a question, but I think we found Bigfoot. He just seems to be moonlighting as CDL caster Miles Ross. I don't know what to say to that.
Miles, day by day, week by week, your face gets smaller, your hair gets bigger. I think by the time we're in Paris, we will be able to see the tip of your nose, and that is about it. Am I upset about that? No, not really. You know?
I'm worried you're actually getting encapsulated in your own body hair. It's actually worrying me. I'm worried about it. Are you okay?
It's getting heavy. And the one thing I'm noticing, it takes me longer and longer to get dry out of the shower. Like it's thick. Like look at this. It goes all the way around. Look. Like there's so much of it, dude.
Why don't you hit up Nameless? He seems to be getting good at giving fresh fades.
Look at this.
I'm not sure where your head starts and where it ends.
Well, dude, all I can say is I think by the end of the season, we're going to have enough hair on my head alone. We can do a full transplant and we can restore Clint.
Oh, that is something we can get behind.
Can we please do this?
We can restore Clint. No, I do need a haircut.
Do you reckon you could tie the bottom of your beard hair to the top of your chest hair and just like connect the whole thing?
Maybe. All right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, as always, to Prestinni, our guest here on the show, and the Trip Cap, to Momo and to Praggy for having a good old time. Stay safe, friends. Be clean. Wash your hands. And whatever the you do, don't fucking swear at work.
No, we won't back down, gonna fight to the end. Our honor comes first every time. Gonna stand up straight.